there goes the power. The power is back on, thankfully. I don't know exactly when it came back on, but by the time I woke up it was back on, which I'm grateful for. Last night was really windy. Very windy. I saw that nearby areas reached 70 miles per hour. It certainly sounded like it. I don't think I slept very well. Hearing the rain pelt the windows and it felt like this cabin was creaking, and it was just, and branches and stuff falling against the cabin. It was noisy. So yes, it was rather a turbulent night, but it's calm outside now. Calm and sunny, which is kind of nice. And I thought I'd just share a few morning thoughts with you. These are just a few tidbits to chew on. I am not going to elaborate on each one at length, but the first one is that it is clear what a person loves because it shines through in everything they do. There is probably a Bible verse that kind of supports this as well. The other thought was, I was praying to the Lord this morning something. I was basically asking that He would make who I am be the same as who He created me to be. I don't pretend to be all He created me to be right now. I think it is a process of growth and maturity and all kinds of things as we go through life. But anyways, my prayer was that who I am would be the same as who He created me to be. That would be at some point. And you know, part of that is me getting out of the way of the work that He wants to do. Not letting myself become a hindrance to that happening, because He is most willing and wanting me to be what He created me to be. So I just realized that there could very well be a difference to who a person currently is to who God created them to be, and I would just like to be who God created me to be. And I think it's a little complex in that as we go through this life, there are still instances of us indeed being who we were created to be. What I mean is, as we are trying to get to the ultimate goal of being more like Christ, along the way we can still be doing God's will. We have by no means reached some kind of perfection yet. I mean, that's not going to happen while we're on earth. But along the way, we can still be doing God's will and doing good and producing good fruit. What I mean by that is there are instances and times of us being who God created us to be along the way, along this journey of being the fullness of who He created us to be. And that looks like doing His will in particular circumstances, particular situations, saying what He wants us to say, doing what He wants us to do along the way. Yes, we can still be who we were meant to be, who He created us to be along the way of reaching the ultimate goal of being more Christ-like. But yes, my prayer was that who I am would be the same as who God created me to be. I mean, do you feel the difference between the two? Maybe you can think of yourself. So I'm really not sure if I explained that well, but that was one thought that came to me this morning. And maybe my explanation can be helped with this other thing, this other thought, which is to keep going with the Lord, keep going this narrow way, step by step, hand in hand, and full of faith. And this faith thing, I believe God wants that our faith would expand to beyond the margins. That our faith would expand to beyond the margins, the type of faith that is for outside of the box. That kind of faith. Not faith for just inside of the box. Sometimes I feel like there can be a tendency to have enough faith for inside of the box, but maybe not enough for outside of the box. Maybe there can be a tendency to have enough faith for inside of the margins, but maybe not enough faith for outside of the margins of what you might expect or what you've ever seen. So for me, I would like my faith to grow and to expand my expectations of what God can or will do to beyond the margins of my expectations, or to outside of the box of what I think He might do. I want to expand my faith and to expect from Him, to expect to see God work and to see Him move and to see His ability and what He's capable of. It is later in the day now, and I spent a lot of today editing. I think I'll go ahead and open day 17 of the Advent calendar. This tea is called chai, and when I first saw this I thought, didn't I just do this like 2 days ago or something? But it is not exactly the same. It says chai French vanilla. The other one I tried was just chai. It says the ingredients are black tea, natural vanilla, chai, cinnamon, and ginger flavors with other natural flavors, cardamom, and clove. So I will go ahead and brew this and give it a try. Alright, I'm back. I have the tea brewing here. I did add a little bit of sugar and a little bit of milk. I'll try it in a minute. In the meantime, I wanted to read the back of door 17. It says, "Sip and spread joy. Enjoy your tea while writing a handwritten note or holiday card for someone special." Alright, I do like writing. I do like writing by hand as well as typing. I like to write in print and in cursive. And I do still write handwritten letters. I have a friend in Oregon. I live in Washington State. She lives in Oregon, and we write letters to each other every so often, and I enjoy doing that. I sometimes wish writing handwritten letters was still more of a thing that people do to communicate with each other. Granted, I know it is nice to be able to reach people pretty much immediately these days. I mean, you don't have to wait like 3 days for a letter to get somewhere. But anyway, I don't think those days are going to be coming back. That's just my opinion, but strange to think that one time in history that was the way to communicate with other people. No telephones, no internet. Definitely seems like a slower way to communicate. But there's still something about it that I definitely enjoy doing. Besides that, I don't think this morning I adequately described how that windstorm was last night. It was really something. In the past, a typical windstorm that we might have around here, when I'd go to bed, it would actually kind of help me sleep. Especially if it was just rain. I mean, hearing the wind doesn't exactly help me sleep, but definitely hearing like raindrops hitting the roof, it helps me kind of sleep better. It feels all the more cozy to be snug and warm in bed while it's kind of nasty outside. So in the past, if there has been rain or even the more typical windstorm, it has kind of helped me go to sleep better. It somehow just makes it feel more cozy and snug in bed. But last night's windstorm, it didn't help me sleep. I got in bed and I was hearing what was going on outside, and it was so noisy and a little disconcerting because it sounded quite strong. Like, it was a little bit scary because I could hear branches and stuff falling on the cabin. I could hear, like I said, this morning the rain was pelting the windows. It seemed louder than how raindrops sound when they hit your car windshield when you're driving at like 60 miles an hour. It sounded louder than that. And then obviously the wind blowing against the house. It was slightly scary, so it didn't help me sleep. And then my mind starts wandering, like thinking about a tree falling or maybe a branch falling and then blowing through the window or something like that. I mean, and I'm not being very dramatic. That's how bad it sounded outside. I mean, we get windstorms now and then, and it's not really a big deal, but this was on a different level. And so I didn't sleep so well last night. I fell asleep at some point, but I can tell now that I didn't sleep so well last night. Feeling a little tired. Yes, and then the power went out, which wasn't the worst thing because I was ready to go to bed anyway. And when I woke up in the morning, it was on. So that wasn't too bad. But that didn't exactly help me go to sleep either because I went to bed and the power was off, and I'm thinking stuff like when is the power gonna come back on, and I hope like the refrigerator and freezer don't start to warm up, and how am I going to like warm food up, and just all the way down the line of how to cope with the power being out for a while. Like, also, I should have charged my phone when I had the chance. Like, all of that type of thinking, that's the type of thinking I was doing as I laid in bed listening to the storm outside. But thankfully, as I said, it came back on pretty quickly. Some trees did fall across the driveway, too. Oh yeah, and then another thought I had as I was laying in bed listening to the storm was I hoped that the chicken coop wasn't gonna take off and fly away. It didn't, thankfully. The tarp on the wood pile, the firewood pile, that got moved around. Tarps on some other things got moved around. But overall, I thought the damage might be worse. So, oh yeah, and I was hoping that like a tree or branch wouldn't fall on a car or something. Yeah, anyways, kind of a turbulent night, but quite calm today. Whenever something like that happens and the power goes out, suddenly I realize yet again how very fragile this modern life is. Like when the power goes out, suddenly you're almost worse off than people were in, like, I don't know, the 1800s or something. Not even probably. You are worse off, I think, than people were back in the day. Back in the day, actually, I don't even know when electricity was invented and was more widespread. Was it farther back than the 1800s? I'm not sure, but my point is people back in the day knew how to live without it, knew how to live without electricity, and I think today most of us kind of don't. So it feels so very fragile. Anyway, I will taste this tea. I'm kind of interested to taste this tea because, like I said, I thought it was just chai like I had not very long ago, but this one is chai with vanilla in it. Okay. Way more mild than I thought it would be. Wow, that's way more mild than I thought it would be. The regular chai tastes better to me. I can barely taste any chai in this. It's like watered down vanilla flavor, but I can't really taste cinnamon or cloves or black tea. That's odd. Well, not my favorite. Not my very least favorite either, but other than that, I did practice some today. Practiced the Christmas songs I plan to play on Sunday. I let the rest of the music team know what the song list is and that sort of thing. Yeah, I think that's all I've got for today. Lord willing, I will see you tomorrow.